All right, guys, so this is our kit for the Lexus Ct200. This is a raw kit that we have in here just so we can show the contrast of how it fits in the dash. In all black, which we normally have for these cars, it was kind of hard. So this is a part that's in production, so that we can just show you that it fits really, really tight against all the black corners. And you can see how it looks. So you can see all the pieces line up really nicely, and the radio sits in there nice and flush. It sits back. This kit will fit any double din radio that is produced by a manufacturer from Japan. JVC, Kenwood, Sony, Alpine, Pioneer, all of those units will fit in this kit. You will have to modify a few things on the bracketry in the back, and I'll show you how to do that. And we're going to take this car apart with our kit in it now, and this is also how you take apart the kit, the actual radio in the car from factory. So here we go. I'm going to start by removing the trim on the passenger side. You remove the other trim, you can see over here, like so. Trim is kicking its ass. The center trim comes out, then this trim comes out. Side trim, this will be a full trim on that side. We're going to take the center console piece out. You're going to unscrew the shift knob as such. You're going to do a better job than he does. These big guys suck at this. Okay, and then when you get this portion out, you won't have that, obviously, because you're putting that in, but you'll see the 10mm bolts on the top. So he's going to take that out so you can see it. Aaron can't see it. So you'll see a 10mm there. You'll see a 10mm there. And then there's also going to be one on the bottom left there and there. Okay, those two you're going to remove. So we're going to stop the video here. We're going to remove the radio. We're going to show you the side panels that will have those pieces. What you'll be able to do is buy our kit. It will come with the templates that will tell you what needs to be modded on the two side panels. That way you can modify them, put your radio in, and you can do all of this at home. I would suggest having it done at a mobile electronics dealer, only because the modifying of the side trim needs to happen, and in order to do that properly, you need to do some gluing. But it's nothing that you can't do if you have a Home Depot nearby or a trim shop nearby. So we're going to start with showing you the bracketry. All right, so now we're going to talk about mounting the radio into the actual car. There is a couple modifications that need to happen to the bracketry that is in the car, and it's not that bad. So first, you need to cut the bottom bracket off that comes onto this side. You're still going to be mounted in the car with the 3 points, and it's going to look like it came with the car once you put all this stuff together. Okay, so you're going to cut this one bracket off, which is very easy to do. There are nubs that go into the factory radio. You're going to take this bracket off, flip it around, and you're going to grind those nubs so that they're flat. Those nubs are designed for these kind of bracketries like from the factory, and we're modifying that. The next thing we're going to do is your kit is going to ship with this little itty bitty bit of plastic. Okay, this is important, and I'll explain why in a second. So next, you're going to mount the radio to the bolt that is on any radio that is going to be, any of the radios I was talking about, approximately 7/8 down from the top and 1.5 inches from the face or the lip of the radio. So not the actual face here, but the face with the den opening is sitting on. It's going to be 1.5 inches. It's going to be the same on any of those radios. This mount will be on all of those cars. So like I said, about 1.5 inches back, and from the top going down about 7/8 down. That's going to be, and this is going to be on all those radios. It's going to be ready for any of those things to happen. You're going to do that on this side. On the other side, you're just going to grind down the nubs that are there on the other side as well. When you remove your factory radio after all the wiring is done, the wiring is pretty self-explanatory. If you need help with that, you can call the store 240-654-1283, or you can order a whole kit that'll become ready, wired, and all you have to do is some of this modification stuff. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your little piece of plastic that comes with the kit, and you're going to clock the radio. So basically, we can move this radio, we can slide it up and down. It's kind of hard because it's been in there. You can move it, but what you're going to do is you're going to move it so that this part barely fits inside here. Like, so it could go if you forced it, but it's going to sit dead nuts, this edge to this bottom edge. You're going to sit them so that they're absolutely as close to almost fitting as possible, okay? That will make sure that your radio is clocked in the right position to go back in the dash. So Sean put all that back together, and we're going to talk about modifying the ear or the trim piece that comes on the side here. Reassembly and the trim piece that goes on the side. Where's the trim that goes right here? This trim. It's on your side. All right, so normally you would see this trim piece come in here and go all the way to the top from this angle here. You would see it go all the way up. In order to cut this, you'll need to peel the top of this back like a banana. So you're gonna take the top of this guy, you're gonna remove all the staples from this side, and you're gonna peel it all the way back. You're gonna peel it back further than where you're gonna cut. So you're gonna probably peel all the way back here. And this is why you want some epoxy to go, or actually not epoxy, you're gonna want to apply some adhesive on this. And Super 33 and some of that stuff from Home Depot is honestly not going to cut it. It will bubble and be nasty. So this is kind of the only part of the install that I would probably suggest you go to a car audio store or a trim store. But there are things that you can buy on Amazon that you can brush on. Just some of the higher end 3M stuff will work, but the Home Depot Super 33 isn't going to work. So 66 will work, I think, pretty good. So you're going to want to do a couple things to get to this point. The first thing is you want to measure where your dash meets. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece of tape and you're going to mount it like so, right? So if I take this piece of tape and I go right here like this, just like I just did, and then I take that same next piece of tape and I just line it up exactly on this line, like so, okay? What you're going to want to do is get this so that it sits as best it can without interrupting these things. So click this back in for a hot second, and you'll notice when we put all this back in, we're a little short here. So what you'll do is you'll see that you're going to cut here, and you're going to cut that up to this point right here where you see this line, and then you're going to trim back until it fits our kit. So it's going to take a little bit of fine tuning to get it in. It's not a lot of work. You just have to peel it back, put the kit in, make sure that it fits where you want to. An easier trick to doing this is taking this, lining up here, right? And this is why we went to the first part first. Taking a kit, the kit's on the roof there. Taking a kit, lining the kit up with this little lip that you see on here, guys, that you want to line it into, right? Taking the kit, lining it up so that it looks good on the front, and then lighting that kit up like so. So this is a way that you don't have to fine tune, but I like fine tuning because before you put it back together, you will know that it's good. So now we can take this back out, and this guy will go in here like so. And you'll notice now we're dead on there, right? At this point, you're gonna have some of this material that's coming down here. Pull it back as far as you can, okay? To get that line so that you know that it's gonna roll around and be good. So this line is completely flat. So we'll just use this to show you. That's not a good way of showing you. This is a good way of showing you. It's completely flat all the way around. So you wanna make sure that it's as flat as possible, right? Again, this is a shortcut way, but the best way is to go slowly and make sure that you are, doing your thing, right? After that's done, then the rest of it's kind of easy. Sean's gonna put his car back together because I'm sure he wants to go. He's got a long drive home. So let me go get his real trim that I painted for him. All right, so now going back in, you'll notice there's a little tab on the left side of this dash kit. You see this? This is to support the shifter so that when you put it all back together, that shifter doesn't have an issue. There you go. Okay, so we put all that back together there, and you can notice this is now sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, once everything else
sturdy,
goes back
everything's back in. You're just going to go in reverse of what we did earlier. Climate control goes back in. Make sure it's plugged in, guys. I would always suggest, and this is something that we do in our store as well, is make sure that you test the unit before you put it all back together. Not that it's difficult to take apart, it's just frustrating as hell to do it all twice. So we're all in back in. Trim, and then the final trim on this side. And that's it. So this kit's available. The actual kit by itself is $179.99. Call Aaron at the store, 240-654-1283, and he can get you hooked up with our kit. Thank you to the guys at JVC and Sean for putting up with us for the last year developing this kit. This man lives over 100 miles away from us and has the car and was actually the real reason that this exists. Thanks, guys, and we see you guys in the comments. Bye. So that is how the kit is installed. Thank you guys for coming through and watching. If you have any questions, give the store a call. 240-654-1283. It's backwards because the phone's backwards. So that's it, guys. Thanks.